abortion is the killing of a human being. Sometimes the killing of a human being is murder. Sometimes it's murder 1. Sometimes it's murder 2. Sometimes it's murder 3, felony murder, second-degree murder, heat of passion, depraved mind, manslaughter, negligent murder, unintentional murder, a lot of things. But it's the taking of a human life and killing it. Number 1. Number 2, you can argue whether it's a fully formed human being, it's a viable human being, it's a blastocyst, an embryo, a fetus. You can talk about this all day long. Good for you. Talk about this. That's interesting. That's my coffee that came in the... No, sorry. Oh, sorry. No, it's a magical coffee. So let me continue. It's my way. Next, the Dobs case said that there is no federal constitutional right to abortion. It said, leave it up to the states. So Florida and others are going to have this Amendment 4, and they're going to leave it up to the states. Let me tell you what it's going to say, basically, if passed. 1, that there will be absolutely no limitations, none, on the termination of the fetus, blastocyst, embryo, human being, whatever it is. They're going to say that if a health care provider or person who could be the abortion doctor, ain't that something? If the abortion doctor thinks that this is necessary in order to prevent or to ensure or to guarantee health or whatever it is, it will do it. It will say, fine. Then we get into what about parental consent versus parental notification. Under this law and others, that will mean that a parent doesn't have to be told ahead of time, or has to be told ahead of time so that the parent can consent, but maybe just notified even afterwards. So that means that a minor, if this is deemed to be worthy of this particular procedure, if it is for or to ensure the health of said minor, even though a minor requires permission from schools to go to a field trip, have an aspirin, if you have lice, I want to delouse it. In every other aspect of the child's life, it has to be provided permission, okay? All this changes. And as far as viability goes, they're going to completely eliminate any post-22nd week, and the 12th week, up to, it will allow for the aborting of the object of biomass minutes before birth. If the individual, the health provider, the doctor, the abortionist provides that this is necessary. Now, many people who said, leave it up to the states. Okay, leave it up to the states. Then it goes to the state court and the state constitution. Maybe there's a state constitution that deals with, in the constitution, the notion of a state could on its own create its own Dobs or Roe, or said that there is no right, there is no guarantee, or that abortion is illegal or abortion is inhumane. It could do this. But you've got to understand, this is what constitutional conservatives wanted. Strict textualists, original intent, Scalia-like people. This is what they wanted. And this is what they're going to get. And if you think that somehow this is going to affect anything, If you think this is going to affect anything in terms of politics, you're out of your mind. And the reason for that, the reason is that people who are against abortion or for abortion are going to vote or not vote for Donald Trump or for Kamala, irrespective of this. It may draw some people out of the woodwork. It may help voter turnout, but it will be voter turnout of people who would have voted one way or the other. Now, what do I think? I think that abortion is here to stay. I cannot think of a reason where I could look to a woman and say, you have no say over the termination of your child. You have no say. And if you get an abortion, we will throw you in prison. We will throw you in prison and your doctor and the nurse. Because if there is a right to life, if this is a human life and you're committing murder, you've got to throw women in prison. You can't slap them on the wrist and say, well, listen, by gum, we're going to give you like a civil infraction, like a speeding ticket. It's not going to work like that. It's not going to work like that. This is what you have to understand. This is what you have to really grasp. It's here to stay. You don't want to live in a situation where there is no, where if abortion were illegal, where there was no chance for any safe and, well, forget it. You don't want that. It's impractical. It'll never happen. The question is, when? What level of barbarity will you and society conceive of? That's the issue. 5 minutes before birth, parental consent or notification, viability. What? That's the issue. And it's not going anywhere. And we're going to have to redefine it as the law prescribes. All right, dear friend, have a great and a glorious day. Sorry to talk about such horrible stuff, but it's important that we do. So comment as you see fit. And thank you. Oh, and by the way, let me remind you, you better stay subscribed to Lionel Legal. Like this video. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And oh yes, as I said before, comment as you see fit.